Thanks, Herbik. We are joined today by Arnab from STOKR and James from Blockstream. How are you both doing today?
How you doing, Jason? We're doing well.
Fantastic, fantastic. Lots of exciting news this week and this whole month, really, so far. But some exciting stuff that happened recently. You guys have the BMN1 token that has reached maturity. You guys are doing redemptions, and there's a new issuance as well for a second version of this, BMN2. Before diving into BMN2, let's break down the first one. Tell us a little bit about how it performed overall and kind of the value that it brought to your investors.
Hey Jason, thanks for having us. BMN1 has been a fantastic journey for not only for STOKR but also for Blockstream, but also for all the investors that invested in BMN1. BMN1 is a Blockstream Mining Note 1. That is the first note that has been issued by Blockstream back in 2021 that got matured this July 2024. BMN1 is a product that is backed by the Bitcoin mining hash rate. So in simple sense, BMN1 guaranteed a fixed hash rate for a period of 3 years, and whatever Bitcoin has been mined for a period of 3 years, minus the cost, has been sent out to the investor. At the time when the BMN matured, total of 1,012, it's a very interesting number, amount of Bitcoin has been paid out to so that's the claim for the investors. So that's the amount of BTC, which roughly equates to 80 million at the date of the payout. So during that time, if I consider that's one of the biggest payout in the entire real world asset tokenization space, that's a fantastic news for the entire industry, which we are working for years now. This product also has given a very interesting return. On dollar basis, BMN has provided a return of around 100%. That's the maximum return because BMN was issued into a number of tranches at different price point. The maximum return in dollar basis was 101% actually. And the interesting part is the Bitcoin basis return. So this product actually gave a 32% Bitcoin basis return for a period of 3 years. So in simple sense, it's outperformed Bitcoin. I don't know that many products in the market that actually provide or outperform Bitcoin in that sense, right? That the BMN did. BMN collectively has raised 40 million when it was issued in 2021, and it paid out roughly around 80 million. So it's like a 2x return in a 3-year period in simple sense.
Really, really exciting. And you mentioned, it's one of the largest payouts in the space. Can you put a dollar value to that amount?
It's roughly 80 million. In dollar value, yes. At the time of the payout, so the product got matured on 6th of July 2024. At that time, the value of the AUM was that, and then Bitcoin price also went up. So I'm considering 66K price point of the BTC because the underlying payout was all denominated in the BTC and all paid out in BTC actually.
Makes sense. And this is one of those products where it is an alternative asset, right? I think something that a lot of people want access to. And we did notice there was a high price to participate into the Blockstream Mining Note. How are you guys, including other investors, maybe at smaller ticket amounts, to be able to also participate in such great returns?
So BMN1 was issued to professional investors back in the days. You could trade a smaller denomination size of 0.02. It was divisible into small decimal point. But the primary issuance was done for professional investors, and the minimum ticket size was 200,000. It was quite steep, and that was an interesting market momentum where we also got a lot of interest. BMN2 now, the product that we will discuss further, actually made it more accessible. If you may, I can just give a more kind of clarification on that point. BMN2 now can be accessed with a smaller ticket. So the minimum investment is 115,000, 115,000 US dollar. But if you are a professional investor, and we have a broker dealer that is doing the qualification for professional investor, if you are qualified as a professional investor, you can invest as low as $10,000. That makes it more accessible. Also, in the past, we also made it accessible. The BMN1 was also made accessible to different exchanges. It was traded on Bitfinex Securities. It was traded on Merge. There was also peer-to-peer swaps people are doing on SiteSwap. And on those exchanges, they also have their own regulatory regime where they can make it much more smaller ticket size or much more accessible in a fractional way.
Makes sense. And we've been tracking those on stm.co. So excited for when BMN2 hits the secondary markets as well. And glad that you brought up BMN2. It's new issuance, right? So for interested investors, how can they learn more at 1 and 2? For BMN1 investors that maybe have not redeemed yet, how can they also participate in BMN2?
So BMN1, if you want to know about the return on the BMN1, there is a report which we have published a few months back. We can put the link over here and you can access that. Also, you can also go to STOKR page and you can also download that. It's on the top bar. For the BMN2, investors can subscribe with $1, with Bitcoin, with Tether, but also with BMN1. When they subscribe with BMN1, that's actually the rollover. And any investor who are holding BMN1 and want to roll over to BMN2, they also get a significant bonus. It's around 3% bonus they're getting in that way. So they can simply, and on STOKR, it's very automatized. You just go there, connect your account and the wallet, invest with the BMN1 and automatically subscribe for the BMN2. And BMN1 is actually, what is underlying BMN1 is the Bitcoin actually, right? And the Bitcoin price has a dollar basis and it changes every second or every minute, right? So when you're investing based on what is the dollar spot price of BTC to USD, your price gets adjusted with the BMN2, and that's how you subscribe the BMN2.
Got it. Okay, cool. So anyone that BMN1 that really profited from this, they might be, doubling down and whatnot. James, let's shift over to you. Let's talk about, the underlying asset here, right? Which is mining of Bitcoin. Tell us a little bit about how BMN2 differs from BMN1 in terms of, what's backing it and what you're seeing in terms of, hash price, for example.
Sure. Well, BMN2, similar to BMN1, this is a simple way to get into mining. And mining is been, depending what units miners you use, it's more profitable than just buying Bitcoin outright. So the BMN2, the market has matured quite a bit since we did BMN1. They introduced what is known as hash price. So if you look at historical hash price, I don't know if you could bring up that slide, Jason. Historical hash price has been, it's at its low right now. But it's been up above 400 at one point. So we are expecting BTC price to go on a bull run, and we would hope to see that the hash price would go up a few hundred dollars per hash, per petahash per day in the near future. Recently, we've seen what happened in Japan, right? They've been giving out basically free loans, and then pulling back on that has hurt the market. So you see the BTC price drop following the market. We're expecting that to recover fairly quickly, right? And see the hash price go back up to where it has been over the last few weeks. The BMN2, we'll be offering a hash price of 61.64, which is a slight premium over what the hash price has been over the last few weeks. The difference is this is for a 4-year term. If you look at buying a hash contract on the market, hash contracts usually are about 6 months in length. Rarely do you see something go over 6 months. So you're locked in at that hash price for that period of time. You see nothing that goes out 4 years. So BMN2 is a very unique product, and it's an easy way to get into mining. So we're excited about this offering and hoping that people will jump on it.
Very cool. No, and I appreciate that explanation too. So do you think that, as public markets are kind of, in the downturn right now, as you mentioned, due to the Nikkei and so forth, how does Bitcoin kind of offer, investors, some kind of hedge or edge into, their returns in general? And of course, as we've talked about repeatedly here, BMN2, has the potential to perform as well as BMN1 did. But tell us a little bit about Bitcoin versus public markets and so forth.
All right. Well, we've seen the Bitcoin price kind of correlate a bit to the market, right? So people putting in money and pulling out money when times are good and bad. We're seeing that now as well. But Bitcoin has generally been a hedge against inflation, and we've seen a lot of inflation recently. So it is a store of value, and we'd love to see it keep going up and more people being educated on really what holding Bitcoin means against just holding the dollar or just standard currency.
Got it. And there have been other products related to Bitcoin mining. We've seen Hashrate Asset Group also, have a similar product. But for you guys, for Blockstream, I also saw the Blockstream ASIC note, basic, that we kind of track on STM as well. Wanted to touch on maybe a little bit on that and the difference between the Blockstream Mining Note and the basic.
Well, the Blockstream basic note is really to arbitrage what we feel the low prices in the ASICs have been over the last year and a half, right? I guess all the people funding or lending against ASICs, when that kind of come down and crash, it kind of put a lot of ASICs in the market, and all lending went away. Right, and also at the same time, there is no capacity to deploy stuff. So we have a lot of ASICs sitting in the closet, and it got devalued tremendously. So right now, the manufacturers, Bitmain and MicroBT, they're producing miners just about cost. So it really can't go down any lower. So we are expecting that the ASIC prices to rebound and start correlating again against the profitability of mining. So when we started the ASIC fund, it was a 24-month fund, and we didn't expect it to recover, to yield anything this early. But we are expecting it as soon as we see a run on Bitcoin price.
Interesting.
I think if I may add one interesting thing, what James just mentioned, just to add to that, Basic has a very interesting fee model. So as a fund manager, the fund manager can only charge a performance fee if there is a Bitcoin basis return in that product, right? So even if the Bitcoin price increases in dollar value significantly, there is no performance fee payable. It's only payable in that way if there is a Bitcoin accumulation is increasing, right? Or the Bitcoin accumulation number. And the two product, how it's interestingly different is the BMN actually provides a different price point of Bitcoin accumulation, because when you're investing in a hash rate or a hash rate product, you actually have a different volatile product. So because we did a very interesting projection actually, and that's also in the BMN2 pitch deck, the BMN2 or the hash rate product actually can enable you with a lower volatile asset class compared to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin price volatility has a significant volatility angle compared to a hash rate volatility.
Exactly. So you have some downside protection buying BMN2 as opposed to buying Bitcoin directly.
Exactly. And the Basic on the other side is different. It's more like a distressed asset fund, which was kind of an opportunistic kind of arbitrage opportunity that came in because of all the bankruptcies and all this kind of thing that we see after FTX, and the ASIC price went all-time low. So the dollar per terahash was kind of around $15 per terahash, James, right, when the fund was set up. Right.
Exactly. You had back, I guess, in December 2021 or early 2022, ASIC prices were, I think they went up as high as $120 per terahash. The same machines right now are sitting below 8. So it's a significant difference in cost. And historically, the ASIC prices have always correlated against the Bitcoin price. But since the last crypto winter, where there's lack of capacity, lack of funding, oversupply of ASICs in the market because of lack of capacity, it created like the perfect storm to keep the prices low. And as these things correct themselves, we expect to see the ASIC prices rebound and start correlating again against the Bitcoin price.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're tracking, the Basic as well on STM. So, hopefully we see that trend coming right back up on the graph. But yeah, some key stats then from today. You have 1,212 Bitcoin mined from the BMN1. You guys have paid out $18 million worth of a payout to your existing investors. Remind us what that amount is in Bitcoin.
Bitcoin was 1212, so 1,212. Right. That will be 80 million worth of BTC.
Right. And Jason, I want to add something else in regards to BMN2. If you compare BMN2 to mining directly, you don't. When you purchase a mining contract, you're locked into a contract. And you have to deal with curtailment of energy, you have to deal with machine failures, and so on. Those type of protections are built into the BMN2 already to a point, and you also have a fungible financial instrument, so you're not locked in. If you want to trade the token on the secondary markets, you can. So that's a huge difference. So it's a way you can mine with liquidity.
Yeah, no, exactly right. You get some of that upside on the performance, and you get to at least bail out maybe on a portion of your position if you need to invest in something else, or you just for whatever reason need some cash on hand. So really exciting. With all this in mind, we've also seen other assets, by the way, start integrating into, for example, being used as collateral and whatnot. So adding utility to these assets. Are there any plans for that for Blockstream Mining Note or any of the Blockstream products?
I think I can give a little bit on the Bitcoin mining note or the BMN in that specific sense. We see the growth of Bitcoin-based collateralized borrowing lending quite a lot, right? And BMN is in certain way is Bitcoin proxy, because underneath value of BMN is whatever the Bitcoin has been mined or whatever expected to be mined in the period of 4 years, because BMN2 is now a 4-year product, right? So in that way, I think anybody who is giving borrowing lending against Bitcoin as collateral can also take BMN as an asset class, right? We saw some interest in those things in the BMN1 phase. Also, BMN1, we saw also quite an interesting liquidity angle, right? That mitigated a lot of liquidity question, because the BMN, we did some analysis after the maturity, over 20 million worth of BMN has been traded. Imagine that's the total AUM at the maturity was 80 million, 20 million was substantial. I'm not aware about in the market some similar securities token have been traded at that volume at this stage, what BMN has been traded, right? So I would say for the entire market, BMN1 is one of the flagship product, because it's not only a private asset, it is also provide an outperform Bitcoin, issued on a Bitcoin layer 2, and you can actually hold in your Bitcoin wallet in the same asset because it's issued on the liquid network. Every transaction is confidential, so you do not have a third party who can front run in the trades. That's a significant advantage when we talk about the financial market. Issued from a Luxembourg securitization vehicle, which is a very institutional grade vehicle with an ISIN number. So this is kind of a regulated securities. So we saw a lot of family offices, institutional investors, and high net worth investors who have participated in the offering. So a lot of things have been achieved in BMN1, and also there are a lot of initiatives we saw in the hash rate product. But the BMN, the volume that BMN has achieved in the first series itself, I think it was quite significant. And if we can keep the same track record, and being the Blockstream has a very strong brand reputation, I think we can even increase the AUM in BMN2 significantly this year.
And Jason, another difference with BMN1 and BMN2, BMN1 was never offered to the U.S. market. And we're expecting BMN2 through another series to be offered in the U.S. market, which is
okay. Well, that's good. That's great to hear more growth. And of course, we walk before we run. So great to see that the BMN1 did very well, and it justifies the BMN2, especially expanding as well to other investors. Appreciate both of you coming on. This was great insights. Absolutely. We'll be transitioning on to the next section of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.